Financial guru Clark Howard recently did a hit piece segment on fixed index annuities on his popular podcast. The gist of his message: never in any scenario should anyone consider utilizing a fixed index annuity. Only money-grubbing, fear-mongering financial advisors would ever recommend it, so avoid it at all costs. Well, in today's video, we'll take a look at each of his points, and then I'll debunk them one by one.
Annuities are hot right now. They are selling like crazy. And this always happens following a tumultuous time in the stock markets. People saw a decline that was stomach churning in both stocks and very rare. I mean, the last time it happened, was it 130 years ago that stocks and bonds both fell in concert at nearly equal rates? It's very, very rare. And people saw right before their eyes this money they'd worked hard to save, they had put in investments, that suddenly in 1 year's time, they may have lost, average person, 17% of what they had invested. And that set the table perfectly for annuity salespeople to come in and say, oh, we can take care of this for you. We've got this perfect product that will protect you on the downside, but you're also getting the upside of the stock market. But are you really? No.
Okay, here Clark Howard sets up the perfect straw man for annuities. Financial advisors who sell fixed index annuities claim that you're getting all the upside of the market without any downside at all. In what fairy tale world could such a product ever exist, he wonders? So right off the bat, he immediately impugns all financial advisors who recommend this product as liars. They're selling a product that doesn't rise to the level of their claims. But does he offer any evidence to suggest that this is actually how FIAs are described by advisors? None whatsoever. I interact with thousands of financial advisors year in and year out who offer fixed index annuities, and I've never heard a one of them describe FIAs in this way. Does that mean there aren't any sleazy financial advisors out there who do so? Of course not, but what Howard is doing is conflating bad advisors with bad products. It's the classic tactic of the one-size-fits-all financial guru. Take a product that has nuance and that might be slightly more difficult to understand than a strict stock and bond portfolio and smear it with one-size-fits-all, broad brushstroke, black and white language. Remember, financial gurus have to get their points across in short 3-minute segments, so they don't have the luxury of nuance. They couldn't very well say FIAs are great in scenarios A, B, and C, but not D, E, and F. In doing so, they unwittingly make the case for an independent financial advisor who can provide customized recommendations that are outside the scope of what the guru himself offers. All this said, how exactly do fixed index annuities work? FIAs give you growth that's linked to the upward movement of a stock market index up to a cap. And should that stock index ever go down in any given year, they simply credit you a zero. So are you getting stock market returns? Of course not, because FIAs are not a stock market alternative. They're a bond alternative. We're talking 4 to 7% growth over time. By the way, if you can get 4 to 7% without taking any more risk than what you're accustomed to taking in your savings account, that's an extremely safe and productive way to grow at least a portion of your portfolio. In fact, if you were to reach into your portfolio, remove the bonds, replace them with a fixed index annuity, you would increase your return, lower your risk, lower the standard deviation of your entire portfolio, and experience a better outcome over time. This reality has been borne out in study after study from dozens of PhDs in academia. But this isn't the picture that Clark Howard paints, because it's a nuanced picture that requires an in-depth explanation that Howard isn't prepared to deliver. Let's keep watching.
What happens with these annuities that supposedly promise you stock market returns with zero risk? Zero risk. You get upside, but you could never lose money. Okay. We would like that the world worked like that. It doesn't. So what they do is they cap the gain you get from the market. And in up years, the market gains can be really high in a year, but you only get part of that. You also don't get the dividends from stocks, which are a big part of what you earn over time. And then on the downside, they say, okay, so you're not going to lose anything, or the most you can lose is 5% or 10% or whatever, is you have to meet the contract language that could be 165 pages long, and you do anything or that the contract required, you miss something, you don't do everything exactly as required, you lose that downside protection.
Okay, here's where Clark Howard really starts to wander off the reservation. I can't think of a single fixed index annuity that has a 165-page contract. Perhaps he's thinking of a variable annuity. Furthermore, I can't think of a single fixed index annuity that stipulates that if you were to somehow overlook or fail to live up to the provisions in that 165-page contract, you would all of a sudden lose all of your money in the stock market of all places. Here, Howard is really revealing himself to be an annuity neophyte. His warning here would seem completely foreign to anyone with even the most cursory understanding of how a fixed index annuity really works. Here's the truth. In their simplest form, you can't lose money in a fixed index annuity. You participate in the upward movement of the stock market up to a cap, and you get a guarantee against stock market loss. This is precisely what FIAs are designed to do. The only scenario where you could possibly lose money is if you purchase an additional lifetime income rider. In that scenario, you would lose money in a flat market, but only up to the cost of the rider fee itself, which is typically around 1%. But what you'd get in exchange for that 1% is the option to elect a guaranteed lifetime income that you can never outlive. Let's keep watching.
You don't have access to the money. If there's some reason you need the money, you get hit with massive, unbelievable surrender charges. Surrender charges are where you pay a massive penalty to get access to your money.
Okay, do annuities have surrender charges? Sure, and yes, this is how insurance companies recoup expenses should you decide to cash in your annuity within the surrender charge period. But remember, the insurance company gives you free access to your annuity of up to 10% during that surrender period without any penalty at all. This, of course, begs the question, in what scenario would you ever want to gain access to more than 10% of your annuity balance in a given year? To understand why this is a smorgasbord of liquidity, consider the alternative. In traditional stock market investing, the most you're supposed to withdraw in a given year is 4%. If you withdraw more than 4% on a consistent basis, you risk sending your portfolio into a death spiral from which it never recovers. The 4% rule, as it turns out, must be followed with Zen-like precision in order to maintain a high likelihood of never running out of money. By the way, Clark Howard is a huge fan of the 4% rule, yet he derides an alternative which allows you to withdraw up to 10% with impunity. Again, Howard's misplaced criticisms of FIAs reveal him to be an annuity dilettante. In summary, as with other financial gurus that have pilloried fixed index annuities over the years, Clark Howard is long on pithy aphorisms and short on nuance. His one-size-fits-all explanations give short shrift to a safe money alternative that can not only give you greater returns than bonds for less risk, but also give you a way to guarantee that your retirement savings will last as long as you do. Folks, in the next 10 years, I'm looking to put 100,000 Americans on the road to the 0% tax bracket. If you would like some help implementing a balanced, comprehensive approach to tax-free retirement that shields you from the impact of higher taxes, head over to davidmcknight.com and click on the Connect with an Advisor button. I'm happy to refer you to an advisor in the Power Zero network that has been trained, vetted, and qualified personally by me. If you're a financial professional and want to learn how to become a certified Power of Zero advisor, head on over to powerzero.com and opt into my free 3-part video series. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.